Welcome to Coffee with the Mayor, a live segment hosted by Oldsmar Mayor Eric Seidel for the community. These segments are featured each Wednesday following an Oldsmar City Council meeting. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning. How are you? And who are you?
I am Deb Vitrelli, Marketing Specialist.
God, make sure you get introduced in there. Come on. Come on.
So Coffee with the Mayor was developed by you to keep our residents, businesses, and community partners informed on highlights from last night's council meeting. You certainly had a packed agenda.
We had a lot of stuff going on, but it was a good meeting. Good. We got some good work done, and this council continues to just knock it out of the park.
As always. Were there any takebacks on any items?
I think there were a couple of things that came up. We were excited to hear from the community about the new 501c3 that got formed.
Oh, what was that?
That wasn't expected. Well, that was kind of expected, but it wasn't on the agenda. And that's where the Oldsmar Friends of the Arts
Wonderful.
got formed by the folks who are involved in some of the theater performances coming together, formalizing, and it has, I think, some extra motivation with what we have going on in the town center right now.
Wonderful.
So I would encourage anyone to go look for their website. And of course, Suda is the point person on that. Everybody knows her. She's Opal Dancers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, theater. So that was exciting. That was a kind of a new twist. And of course, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but the kids came out and did a little performance. So it was fun.
Nice.
It was fun. Yeah, it was
Very
good.
Nice. So you had a public hearing for a second reading for an ordinance that would provide temporary outdoor dining within city-owned street parking. So how did that discussion go?
It went good. It passed. It was unanimous. That discussion took place a while back originally, where as good of a job as some past leaders did in planning out the city and specifically the town center, there were some areas that they didn't think ahead in terms of ensuring the sidewalks in front of some of the retail spaces were big enough to allow some outdoor seating. Fast forward, the pandemic hits, we signed some executive orders that helped our restaurants have more outdoor seating.
That was important.
It was important to help them keep their occupancy rate up, and we saw some success with that. But the subject came back full circle recently because of the new Oldsmar Tap House and Golf Cart Cafe that's opening this month over here on State Street, over at the Galleria. For those who've been around it for a while, remember when it was there before. Different owners, different vibe, quite frankly. And so it kind of they came to us and said, "Hey, listen, with COVID and safe social distancing, can the city help?" And of course, we're no longer in a state of emergency, so that executive order we had has expired. And so we created this ordinance to help them. It wasn't just them, but it became a way for us to deal with these issues in the future. And since that time, the city manager has looked at it and believes he's found a path to make some of these things permanent. And so there's key requirements, one being that the location has ample parking to begin with. And so, but anyhow, it passed last night, so we're excited about that. So get ready for some outdoor dining and hanging on State Street.
So how are they going to handle that parking? They're taking away the parking spaces in front of the cafe
That's
and
correct.
making that, okay.
Yeah, so they're going to enclose that, and they're probably going to make it more permanent if that comes to fruition, which sounds like it will.
Okay.
But they're going to enclose that so that they'll have tables and chairs out there, and it'll be nice.
Wonderful.
Enjoy the weather.
Oh, yeah.
And it gives the vibe. You know, it's the vibe that we want. You see it in other areas. And so it's kind of a way to go down that path.
I'm sure they're excited.
Yeah.
So it's great that phase one of the Harbor Palms infrastructure project is now completed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know those residents would like to know some updates. So was anything approved for phase two?
Phase two funding was approved, and we made the next step in that. It's a total of, it's not to exceed $3.4 million. It's actually $3.443 and actually $910 extra. So
And 10 cents?
And 10 cents. But so we approved that last night, which is exciting. It represents the next phase. And as most folks probably know, there's 3 phases over there. And we started with the phase in the back of the Harbor Palms area. This is kind of the what I would consider to be the east side going up to Tampa Road. And that's what we're working on next. And that includes construction, which is the installation of new water distribution piping, meters and services, repaving or reconstructing roadways, the installation of underdrains, replacing all curbs and gutters, kind of modernize a little bit, update, and rehabilitating or replacing the stormwater structures, and the installation, which is nice aesthetics, of a wider sidewalk. So
That's
it's going to be
lots of
a
families
5 foot.
there.
Yeah, it's perfect. And so we're investing a lot of money in this project, but it's long overdue. And so anybody who lives over there knows the issues they've had with plumbing in the city's plumbing, frankly. Those pipes are 40 years old.
Wow.
And folks didn't make the decision to keep investing. I've sat on council on and off since 2007, and it's always funny how you watch that item get moved to year 5 again of the capital improvement budget. So the council before this one and this council has stepped up.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure
it's good.
residents are excited to hear that.
It's exciting to see it happen.
Oh, so the Community Redevelopment Agency, which is City Council, considered a conceptual plan submitted by Devon S. Rushnells, LLC, for the city-owned property located adjacent to the Oldsmar Public Library. So this would be part of the Downtown Theater District project. So what type of plan was presented?
So you're looking at it right now. We've got it up on the screen. This gives you an idea. And first off, so you know that the theater district is a new concept, right? And so in that incorporates a community theater, a black box theater, as they call it.
Oh, how exciting.
So we've looked at the walkability from what we're doing here by City Hall, go down State Street, get to the intersection of St. Pete Drive and State Street. And as you turn, we own all that property on the left. So what you're looking at is the concept plan of converting that into something new known as a theater district. And so it's our way of saying, hey, look, we're going to have this retail, mixed-use green spaces over here by City Hall. Now you get the vibe of it's about a half-mile walk. We envision other things will fill out as time goes on. Mm-hmm. The Golf Cart Cafe is a great example, right? And as you turn the corner, you'll come into what will be, I think it's 94 is the number of townhouses that will be there. And they're unique. So it works like this. There's 24 that's right on St. Pete Drive, and they're what's known as a work here, live here unit. So the ground floor is actually retail that faces out to St. Pete Drive.
That's unique.
And the top 2 floors are residential. So what it does is it creates this area in addition to generating the revenues from the sale of the property to help us invest in a theater. It allows us to also add retail that is intended to be things like small, locally owned retail. Okay. The space there is about 500, 600 square feet in those retail units. So they're smaller, but they have some that are strategically placed next to walkways that go between buildings. And the way they're laid out is when you look at this, you'll notice that along St. Pete Drive, you'll notice that it has a deep sidewalk. So you have some that have the opportunity for a little bit of a cafe type style. And so we're excited about it. And the council approved unanimously moving forward. And what that means is this. We approved the concept plan, which then instructs the city manager with our negotiations team to go negotiate with the developers. And we've worked with these folks before, solid people, local people. And so they've done quite a bit of work on that already. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we're at. That has to happen. The next step would be they would negotiate a deal, the city manager would, with the negotiations team, and they bring it back to us for approval. And the site plan, by the way, that wasn't a site plan approval. It was a concept plan. And there's a significant difference between the two, because what will happen now is it will go through the technical review committee. It will go through all kinds of engineering studies and looks. So it's subject to change to meet the requirements that are necessary to turn it into reality.
So is that normally the process involved? Okay.
It is, and it's a little different because when you own the property, we have extra steps to go through for transparency purposes, right? And so we think that we're on the way to creating that part, that end, if you will, of the town center, an anchor, and it's right next to the library. So it's exciting.
So that's going to go all the way up from the library up to St. Pete Drive.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and part of right there on the corner of St. Pete and State Street, talk is that they want to put a kind of a flagship anchor when you come in, right? Some type of monument, something like that. You'll notice in what they submitted, it had us moving our wings of flight over there. I joked with him about it. John Buse, who's a partner there, said, no, I was putting a placeholder in there. I'm not trying to take him because I assured him that we would give him a bill for it.
Yeah, that's a big
with
move.
commission. Yeah, so in any event, so it's exciting. 24 work here, live here units. So we're underway.
So this will include a black box theater. So can you kind of describe, that's a unique theater.
It is. It's different. It's not to be confused with the Ruth Eckerd Hall. I mean, we got to set some expectations,
No
right?
doubt.
Yeah. I mean,
Taj Mahal.
Yeah. But it is intended to be a community theater, kind of like the theater that you see over in Clearwater. And we're fortunate that Felicia Donnelly, our assistant city manager, was involved with the one they built over in Clearwater. So that John Buse designed the outside of that, and that's subject to change. But the design that he put there, it mimics an old Oldsmar train station that was never built, right? Which is kind of what the library does.
Yes.
So you'll notice the architecture matches, right?
Wonderful, yeah.
And they wisely left some wide spaces between the library and the theater for another possible event place, right? But internally, it would host theater, of course, live performances. Certainly, the Opal Theater community group that we have, the city would own it, is the way it would work, and so they would certainly have the ability to use that and make it kind of a base, I think. We would be able to also have comedy acts get booked into there. But we would probably use some judgment on the comedy acts. I don't even want to know what you're thinking right now.
No, you don't.
No, Deb, I don't. And also it could be used with something that's sorely missing here in Oldsmar. It could be used as a private venue place.
Yeah.
And so we don't have that asset here. You tend to look at what assets we have and what we don't have. It's something that's missing. And listen, the arts here in Oldsmar have been amazingly in bloom.
Yes.
They've been around for a long time. A lot of people don't realize how long.
Oh, yeah.
But when we're getting 575 people to performances out at Orioles Park that the Opal Theater's putting on, it's a clear message. And so it's exciting. It got moved to the next step. And we've had a lot of good public comment on it.
Good.
It's not final by no means. There's a process. The first process is that we come to an agreement on the purchase price of the property. As mayor and as a council, I could tell you it's important to all of us that we get a good return for our citizens. It also will have an impact on how much funds we have available to put into the development of the theater.
What kind of timeline are you looking at?
Well, that's a good question. I think what's important first, what will determine an awful lot of it, is how quickly negotiations go at this next step. And so I have a lot of faith in our city manager. So I have complete confidence that our city manager, our assistant city manager, and our city attorney, who's our negotiation team, I can't imagine it'll take them more than a month to get a deal struck on the property.
Wow.
So if you're listening, guys,
No
I know you will.
No pressure.
You heard it here first.
And it's kind of ironic that the theater, Black Box Theater, would be placed on that property because you remember what used to be there.
Yeah, it used to be the community center over there, which was used for theater. You know, it was fun. It was it was funny because we were joking about it earlier. It was, theater on Saturday and Friday was bingo.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a fancy building.
Come build the props.
Come build the props. Put the stage together. But yeah. So it's exciting.
Wow. Well, are there any other key actions or items from the council meeting you'd want to talk about?
Yeah, there's just a couple things before we wrap up that I'd like to touch on. Number one, we did authorize to advertise the next part of the repair for the Oldsmar pier out at Arioles.
Oh, fishing people would love that.
Yeah, I have to explain. The landing out there had more damage where it requires outside help to repair. We have a procurement process policies that require us to go through a process. Mm-hmm. And so it takes longer. We talked about it a little bit last night to ask if there's a way moving forward that staff can maybe find some ways that we can accelerate that process in a situation where it's a high-use asset of the city's. So we really want to get it done quicker. But it's an important policy that we have because it ensures transparency. It ensures that we're getting a good price. But I just want to let our citizens know that we did approve moving that forward. Exciting news, if you haven't heard, Oldsmar Days and Nights is coming back.
All right.
Yeah, April 23rd through the 25th. So this month. And they've done a lot of planning for CDC guidelines and social distancing. There's not going to be an open field with blankets everywhere. It's going to have tables and chairs. We do have a limit of 800 people out there at a time. There's another allocation of 200 for volunteers. Okay. And they're actually going to click people in and out. It's free. It's still free, but they're going to manage it. And so it's going to be an interesting effort. I have faith in our chamber. They do events great.
They always do.
They do. And that Saturdays, they're definitely going to have the parade.
Oh, the parade's back.
The parade is back. Everyone loves the parade.
That's my favorite.
Everyone loves a parade.
My favorite. Who can participate in that parade?
Anyone can, really. Any business or organization can reach out to the Chamber of Commerce. You do have to get registered to do so.
Okay.
And people with golf carts. We're including golf carts this time, which will make it fun. And we know how much our folks have enjoyed getting out on their golf carts and participating.
We are a golf cart community.
We are. We are. So that's exciting. Go to their website, get more information. I got something I want to just remind everybody or make them aware of. Listen, our solid waste contract's coming to an end.
Oh.
Most don't know that in the recycling industry, there's been some dramatic changes where recyclables are not in demand anymore. And it's a long, drawn-out story. It has to do with what they call spot markets. And what happens today is when they collect recyclables and they can't sell them, they go to the dump like everything else, right? Unfortunately, there's just nowhere to put them.
Yeah.
And so that's happening more and more. And so while in the past our contract incorporated recycling that the hauler could recover some expenses, that's disappearing. And we're hearing about this from our peers. It's an ongoing problem where those prices are going up. So we're starting now. We're putting out bids as the council approved that. And our city manager and staff will be as creative as they can. But I hate to say it. I just got to put it out there because it's something that we're going to end up having to deal with.
Yeah, it's a hot topic. You're a member of the the Mayor's Council of Pinellas County. So you have a meeting today.
Have a meeting today.
Yeah. You're going to be what are you?
Vice President.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. It's nice. Good group. It's good to get together with all the other mayors. As you know, there's 24 in the county, and we meet once a month. This will be our first meeting in person. So. Since the pandemic started, but we share different things that are going on, and we try to look at some regional solutions, which I think are probable. Unfortunately, they'll take time.
Yeah,
and so we're we try to help each other, and we have a healthy, fun competition too. So
nice.
It's always good. All right, so moving on. Let me just a couple other things before we wrap it up. Hey, we had talked about setting up a pop-up vaccination site here in Oldsmar, but we just found out there are places coming online. One in particular I am going to mention, Walgreens here in Oldsmar is now doing vaccines.
Tampa Road, Forest Lakes.
So you can go out there. You have to go online, book an appointment. There's no cost for it. So we've decided that we're going to let that be run by those who are already set up. because I think it has more of an evergreen situation versus us coming in for a couple days and doing a pop-up, as they call. But I wanted to mention that. You could go to their website. And last but not least, the Opal Theater has a performance coming up April 17th at Orioles Park. It's Disney's Beauty and the Beast Junior.
Not senior, junior.
Not senior. And it's at 8 p.m. They start seating at 7 o'clock. They came into council last night and started out right with a little performance, and it was fun.
Were they in costume?
They were in costume.
Oh.
They were in costume, and they all did a great job. And, the events they've been putting on just keep better and better.
Yeah.
So that was a council meeting.
Wow.
And I think that pretty much brings us to the end, because I'm looking. And I'm out of coffee.
Well, that's not good.
So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it. A little short update. We'll see you each Wednesday after our city council meetings. And so keep an eye open for it. We hope to be live all the time. And everybody go have a great day. Thank you.